want to start off with some vocal exercises?
I know the alphabet thing where you put your fist in your mouth and go.
I haven't heard that.
Okay. It's supposed to like stretch out your mouth so that you can better enunciate. So I've do 2 knuckles. Go
All right, let me try it.
Oh.
I got pretty close to putting my whole fist in my mouth.
I mean, that's the goal.
The goal is to put your whole fist in your mouth?
Yeah, so I'm only at 2 knuckles right now. I can kind of do 3.
Oh my god, I totally put my fist in my mouth. It's not because it's an audio show. You can't prove me wrong, haha.
It's strange that you can talk so well with your fist still in your mouth.
Yeah, my fist is still in my mouth. And I'm speaking rather well.
So you should just do that all the time, just fist in your mouth.
Yes, guys, the podcast from here on out, we are going to do it primarily with our fist in our mouth.
Okay, got it. Oh.
Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Oh, recently, my card got stolen, my credit card.
Okay.
Not physically, but the numbers were off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I lost like $300 and something.
Whew. Did they spend it on anything wise?
They didn't spend it on anything cool.
Oh.
They spent it at a gas station, which I find insulting.
Yeah.
Because, quite frankly, if you're stealing my card, get like a Nintendo 64 or something.
Yeah, you gotta go all out. You gotta go flashy. Yeah, if you steal someone's credit card and you spend it on groceries, you're just like,
come on, man.
Come on.
Stop being responsible with my card. But anyways, I got the money back recently.
It's odd, the responsibility of thieves.
Yeah, maybe it was like a Robin Hood thing where someone stole my credit card and they're like, I'll give to the poor by buying gas station items.
Except they stole from the poor and then gave to the poor.
How do you know I'm poor? You don't know that. Stop telling everyone my social class, Dan. Anyways, that happened. I also learned recently a couple of adult things here on the Almost Adults podcast. Haha, wow, who knew?
True.
So I haven't been paying my gas for 6 months, but my gas has been working. Turns out I never registered to have gas in my house. So I had to call the gas company and say, hey, turn on my gas. I've lived here since June, right? I can't cook anything right now.
So you have been living with gas for 6 months.
Yeah, I've had gas. The stove works and everything.
Okay. Wait, okay, so how did you find out that you weren't paying?
My gas wasn't working.
Your gas just stopped working.
My gas just stopped working, and they're like, yeah, apparently you never registered with the gas company.
Huh.
And I'm like, oh, I completely forgot because I've had gas.
Yeah, because you didn't think of it as an issue. You thought of it as, I've been living this way with gas in my apartment, and now it's gone, and now it's a concern, and that's what brought it up.
I don't know if anyone finds this interesting. Oh, Gage, I've been waiting 6 months for your new podcast, and you just talk about your gas. Yeah, maybe I was fixing gas in those 6 months, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a busy guy. I can't do these podcasts every week like Dan over here.
Yeah, that's not solely my effort, though.
Yeah, I think the blame is primarily on me when the blame for you is on 4 people.
True.
So yeah, let's move into what we did as our challenge. I'm interested to hear what you did for your challenge.
Okay.
Who'd you contact? Just to recap, our challenge was contact an inspiration of ours and say that they inspired us.
So I'd been listening to this podcast called Stuff You Should Know. Very popular podcast. And I listened to them back in 2015. So around 2013 is when I started to listen to podcasts. But I was really interested in theirs because they were tackling subjects that seemed common, but they did a really deep dive into the logistics of all of it, a lot of the history behind it. And from listening to them, I had an understanding of how conversational podcasts should be run and how they should be working.
How so?
For them, it's just 2 hosts, Chuck and Brian, and they have a back and forth with each other. And both of them have done research over the subject, and they'll usually converse with each other throughout the episode. Now, when it came to doing the weird alphabet, when I was asked to do that, I took on their example and used that for the weird alphabet. And I wanted to provide information to the podcast in a way where if someone was listening to us, I wanted to make sure that they were getting something out of it.
Oh, you were like the brains. So if you guys were a boy band, you would be the brainy one.
Mm-hmm.
Michael would be the handsome one. David would be
David.
And Frola would be the crazy one.
Exactly. Frola's the bad boy.
Frola's the bad boy. I love it.
That was something that I wanted to provide in a way. And part of it was that I was insecure about being on a podcast that was simply about talking about these songs. I didn't want to provide simply an opinion of what I felt about the song. And I felt like that was being provided by the other voices in the podcast, where David is very opinionated to the point where he even has his own ranking. It's even documented that
he
his
needs to
opinion is
re-rank
there.
that list. I tell you what, David, calling out to you, re-rank that list.
So when it came to Stuff You Should Know, I had sent them an email saying that I admired their work, and they'd been going on for over 1,000 episodes now.
Holy cannoli.
They've been at it for quite a bit, and because of listening to their podcasts, I simply thank them for what they had done, and because of the work that they do. And so I sent them a letter I sent them an email simply thanking them for everything and thanking them for the inspiration.
Yeah, and how did that make you feel?
It definitely felt like this weight on my chest. It wasn't something that was burdening me, but it was something where I knew it was inside me that I wanted to reach out to them, or at least let them know that because of what they've done, it's inspired how I guess, run the podcast, or how I approach podcasting because of them. So because of that, I felt like this weight has been lifted, where I finally thank them for their work and for what I do.
Yeah, it goes full circle.
Yeah.
What have you learned from me doing podcasts?
What I've learned from you is the attention to detail.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect you to have a legitimate answer.
Yeah, because working with Weird Alphabet, we had the transition of David editing the podcast first, Michael taking over, and now I've taken over for editing as well, and using your examples of how you edit your podcast, where you've taken in this idea of the quality needs to be there. There was a discussion long ago where you compared with David how long you spent on just one episode of Almost Adults. You said something like 5 to 8 hours or something on an episode.
It's more than that nowadays.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you wrote to your inspirations, and I'm glad you told me your inspiration.
Yeah.
How I've inspired you. That
Yes.
made me feel good.
That's good.
I contacted good old Nick Lauer. He's been on the show before. Really inspiring guy. He just constantly works. He's got this great test scene for his JoJo animated. It's called Blood Sun Vendetta. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I just reached out to him and said, hang on, let me find the exact quote. I said, hey man, just wanted to let you know you inspire me, so keep up the good work. And he said, okay. And gave me a little heart.
Aw.
Yeah. So pleasant guy.
So you said he was a guest on the show before. So how did you first encounter him?
Long ago. He used to do these streams where he would make cartoons with the audience.
Oh, nice.
There was like this writing phase where he's like, throw out writing ideas. And you would just type out writing ideas. And he's like, all right, we're going to put that on the board. And then eventually he would animate on stream and then finally release it on YouTube.
So then how did you first discover his work?
I discovered him through Sleepycast.
Mm-hmm.
And Sleepycast is a huge inspiration for this podcast. I don't think that's a secret to anyone, because I've had Niall on the show, and Niall has also been on Sleepycast. I've had Stamper, and of course Mick. Mick was like our first big guest, and one of my favorite episodes. We've talked about it many times, but love to have that guy back on. So, love you, Mick.
So what made you choose him over anyone else?
He's just the first one that came to my mind. The other one was my dad, and I talk to my dad on a regular basis. I don't really talk to Mick on a regular basis.
I mean, telling someone that you know regularly that they inspire you is great, but having someone that you don't have regular contact with, I guess a heavier...
Not that, like, it's not meaningful when someone in your life goes, hey, you inspire me. It's always great, as we've evidenced just now with you and I.
Yeah.
But a total stranger, you're like, wow, I've never met you, and it's great that I've had an impact on your life. In a positive way, I hope.
Have you inspired anyone before, or has someone reached out to you to say that you've inspired them somehow?
I don't think inspire is a good word.
Encourage?
Yeah, I've encouraged a couple people through the podcast. It always blows my mind when people are like, hey, I listened to your podcast, and I've never met them. I'm like, really? Wow. You're stupid. Get better taste in podcasts.
I feel the same way when people say, I listen to the Weird Al podcast. I'm like, for some reason, I just have that idea in my head where it's like, there's better podcasts out there.
Well, if you have a terrible podcast taste, listen to the Weird Alphabet.
Yay!
And with that said, speaking of podcasts, I mentioned Sleepycast a little bit earlier. We have Jeff, JohnnyUtah on the program, and our returning co-host, Niall, is coming back too, so it's a bit of a Sleepycast reunion, and it's a lot of fun. And with that all being said, coming up on Almost Adults.
Niall, you still think you're in a room with Stamper and Mick and me. You're not acclimating to society.
I like write thank you cards to people at like Christmas time.
Oh yeah, he does stuff like that.
Sometimes I joke about things in a sarcastic way, and people are like, "Oh, you're being cynical again." JohnnyUtah, I wish you were dead. You know, I'm like, it's like I'm not that bad. I'm not a bad guy. I don't think.
My friend Gage is gonna talk to you. Oh, and Niall, he'll be there, oh, too. Well, they're gonna talk about the things they wanna say, speak about their lives from day to day. They're gonna dive into the nuts and bolts. Welcome y'all to Always Adults.
It's actually Almost Adults. Let's do this. Let's tango. Welcome to Almost Adults, everybody. I'm Gage.
I'm Niall.
And this is Almost Adults. Today we have with us on the program JohnnyUtah, aka Jeff. How's it going, Jeff?
That's not like Sleepy Cabin Niall, is it?
Yeah, you wanted to get your candid reation of,
It is!
being also on the podcast.
I knew that sounded like you, Niall. We haven't talked in a while.
I know, it's been a while. I didn't even know you were on Discord. Maybe because I just don't talk to that many people. It might be that.
Well, we can be Discord friends, Niall. I'll allow
Let's do it. Add me. I'm not going to say it on here.
All right, well, say it not on here.
All 7 viewers are going to know my Discord.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Don't worry, like 3 people listen to this. It's a fine.
Oh, yeah, I went down after the Gage had some controversy, so his viewership got cut in half.
Did he? What happened?
He got caught wearing a dress in public, and everybody laughed at him.
It's true.
Oh,
I was
well.
cross-dressing in public.
It happens, right?
I mean, you've done that before, right?
No, but, you know, I have a good imagination, so I could, Niall could pull off a dress. I don't know if...
You think so?
I don't know, Niall. You got a feminine charm to you. I don't think I have.
I mean, you do got the floating eyelashes, but we talked about that on other podcasts.
I do have beautiful eyelashes, but, you know.
I appreciate the compliment about the dress.
Hang on. Jeff, do you know what color Niall's eyes are? Because I said his eye color earlier, and he said I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're this color.
Are they blue?
Yeah, they're like insanely blue. What the fuck, guys?
My eyes are blue, and it seems like people pick up on blue eyes more than, like, brown eyes, so that was just an educated guess. But every caricature I've ever seen of Niall, everyone kind of nails it. Like, they just, like, really focus on your eyes.
Give me big fucking fat lips.
You're a beautiful man, Niall.
Thanks, dude. And I got the bags under the eyes, pointed, turned up nose. That's how to draw me. It's pretty easy. Scruffy hair.
There you go. Tips from Niall.
PS2 hairs, I call it. What a weird insult, but it's not even an insult. Just Niall has beautiful fucking hair. It's like so perfectly shaped. It just feels like it just reminded me of a character from like Final Fantasy 12 or something at the time.
Was that your first thought when you saw Niall? This guy looks like Final Fantasy 12.
Maybe not my first thought.
I didn't have the long hair
Yeah,
when we first met.
yeah.
I don't think I was like this chubby dude.
Niall's hair belongs in like a shampoo commercial or something. But
Do you know what Gage looks like?
I don't.
The only thing he has reference for me is the girly ass picture I have on my Discord.
Oh well, fuck this. Jeff, how you doing, dude?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
It's all good. Not too bad. You know, still in LA.
Niall actually crashed on my couch for the first 2 months he was here. Then we had a horrible roommate incident where she was supposed to move out and she's like, nah, I won't. And so we both had to leave.
You know, you two threw in the towel and left her there.
Well, this literally happened. Her and Gage didn't get along very well, and one time she stopped in the middle of the road, and she got out of the car, and she was like, I can't go back to him! And then she got sent to the mental hospital. Isn't that true?
That is very true.
She used to bring this big bumbling cartel member into the house, whose name was Homer. I'm not even kidding.
Was she Latino, or she just happened?
No, she was a white lady.
Yeah.
She was out of her
All
fucking
right.
mind.
All
She'd bring
right.
this actual loser into the house.
You know, I know other people with this similar predicaments. You can't let evil in through the door, because once it's in, it won't leave out of its own volition. It just, you have to, I don't know, it turns into a situation.
You have to pry it out, or you have to grab it by the balls and then throw it outside.
Yeah.
To be fair, he didn't start coming over till you started hanging around, so maybe you're the evil Niall.
No, man, I tried to ward him off. He wouldn't even say a word. What I don't know like what they talked about. They were both boring as fuck.
They were very, very boring. That is like the worst crime to be. I told you about my Bumble date, right?
Yeah.
How is Bumble different from Tinder? Is it the same thing?
I actually got Bumble the other day because I was horny, and then like
Of
I went
course.
on. No, because I was on Tinder, and I was like, oh well, why not throw more fishing nets into the pond?
Uh-huh.
So basically, the difference is like in Bumble, it's the same thing, but the women have to write back first, and somehow they're less attractive on Bumble.
No, they're more attractive on
they're
Bumble.
not.
I have yet to use any of these apps. I have no idea how they work. I'm just out of touch.
There are just a bunch of fat goobers on Tinder.
Okay.
All right, do you know what Tinder does secretly? They know what you are. Like they know what out of 10 you are.
They do have like a secret ranking or something.
They have a secret ranking for you,
Ooh.
and they match you with people who they think you could match with.
Oh, that's interesting.
So maybe that's why you're getting.
You're not getting enough beautiful people. It's like you sort of secretly look at everyone and you're like, they're on my level, and you're upset. I don't know.
Maybe they think you're a 3 and they're giving you like
Yeah, it's
ones.
interesting. Are you still using your old pickup lines, Niall? Like I remember we were talking about it. It was something about your Irish descent or something.
My first line on Tinder is I'm straight off the boat from Ireland. It still is that.
That's right.
I still have pictures from 2012.
That's
like
right.
I look nothing like that anymore. My pictures are actually from 2012 on there. What's that? 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've just dabbled recently again in the whole Tinder thing.
Hey, we're all human, Niall. I understand. If your burning hot loins need to be extinguished. I mean, I'm like joking, but I mean, I'm hey, whatever you got to do, Niall.
They were burning hot after some of those dates. I had to go to the doctor and get an STD test.
Oh,
But anyway,
shit.
I went to Planned Parenthood because Gage, I'm sorry. This is your podcast is supposed to be about movies.
No, please continue.
I went to Planned Parenthood because I thought I had one of the STDs.
Not one of the good ones.
No, it wasn't like.
They do more than just scold you about having a child. Like they test for stuff too, or how?
Apparently, it's free to get it there. That's why I went there. But it
Okay.
turns out it's not. Not if you're a straight white man. It's only free for like gay Latino people or
Oh.
some shit. But they tested me. They did like an AIDS test on me. I was never worried ever about having AIDS until I had to wait 30 minutes to find out if I had AIDS. And then I didn't have it. I was clear, thank God. And she gave me a lollipop and I went home.
Let me
That
ask you
was
this,
about it.
Niall. Sorry, Gage. I'm sorry. I haven't talked to Niall in like 2 years, so I'm interrogating
No,
him
no,
now.
you
But
guys are good. I've heard all these stories.
I just want to know: are there any girls? This is like the Tinder update part 2. Are there any? Were there any that you sort of thought might have had something, but your sex drive just kind of overrode those warning symbols in your head?
That's what happened. Was there was a girl I was talking to, and the only reason why I hooked up with her is because she was from Syria, and I was like, huh.
Wait, how is that attractive to you?
You're
Just
just
because-
like just a different flavor of the month, Niall. You're just like, yeah, I've never had Syrian before. It's like food.
It's just because that's where the ISIS were and stuff, and I was like, this is interesting. So I tried it.
What were you hoping to talk about ISIS over like a nice?
I did mention ISIS. She laughed. She liked it. Actually, I was on another date with a Jewish girl. I don't know if I told you this, Gage. She was an actual Jew from Israel. She told me she was like, what is it, an Abernathy Jew or something?
Why are you looking at me for this?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about Jewish people.
There's like a branch of Jews, like Abernathy Jew, and I was like, I won't remember that. And then I said, I'll just try to think of it like Auschwitz Nazi Jew. And then she got really, really offended and she left. So that happened.
I wonder
no.
why.
Also, I offended some girls yesterday.
Oh yeah, tell that story. That's a
I
good
told
one.
this to Gage on the way here. I really, really offended some ladies yesterday.
Uh-huh.
We were at a premiere, our friend's premiere. I'm sure you've heard about it. Hans, he's doing a
Yeah,
show
shout
called
out to Hans.
Right. I heard there's a premiere.
Mutton Chops. There was an after party, And it was I was bumming cigarettes like I do, and there was a chick sitting at the table. You know, she had a Botox face, one of those bee sting Botox faces.
Yeah.
And I tried to ask her for a lighter, and she assumed I was hitting her or something. She gave me the most stuck-up response ever. She was sarcastic with me from right off the bat, so I was like, fuck this bitch.
Did you get the lighter?
Not from her. I didn't want it from her after that. And then I went down, and I saw this, Jeff, you like this. I saw, an African-American lady as she was sitting down. But,
What is that supposed to mean?
because, you used to always give
This
me...
is important to the story.
Oh,
we'll say.
I mean, you know, I know you like your coffee black, but yeah, anyway, yeah.
I dip my toes in all sort of flavors.
Don't frame it in a way like that, Niall.
But anyway, I was hitting on her for like an hour, and we'd hitting it off very well, and she was really nice. She left, and there was a guy there who was a fan of Sleepy Cabin. Shout out to Jose, and he told me he was a Mexican, and he kept buying me shots, so I got very, 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 very drunk.
Jose was a Mexican? I don't believe it.
Turns out he wasn't actually Mexican, and that's where the problem lay, Jeff.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Because he was sitting talking to Botox Face. He was being nice to me all night, so I sat down and I go, you're talking to my Mexican friend, Jose. Their jaws dropped. They couldn't believe what they heard. Because I said, my Mexican friend. I introduced him as that. Apparently he's Puerto Rican. They got so offended you wouldn't believe it. And he didn't care. He was like, I don't care. I introduced myself as Mexican. And they fucking hated me. And then they started calling me racist. And then I told them that I'm not racist because I got my N-word card a few years ago. And then they were like, their jaws still agape. They can't believe that this is coming out of my mouth.
Niall, you still think you're in a room with Stamper and Mick and me. You're not acclimating to society.
But no, dude. It's like they couldn't believe what they were hearing. I didn't like these chicks. Like, so I was fucking with them. But they were like, you can't say that. And I was like, no, I really did. I got my N-word card in 2013. I was just fucking with them. And then they were like, you can't say it. And then I like leaned over. And I just whispered the N-word while looking her right in the eye.
What? What?
Dude,
what?
I was really drunk. It was just, all I wanted to do was
Niall.
fuck with them. There's no racism behind it. It was just, I just wanted to see what their reaction would be because they couldn't. I called a guy a Mexican and they got offended. So I was like, what will their reaction be? They lost their fucking minds. They stood up and they started telling everyone I was like a racist.
Yeah, I don't blame them. What? Anyway, yeah. Shocking.
Why don't you blame it?
Niall, I'm on their side, Niall, not yours. I'm on their side. Jeez, Niall.
I just gave him a punch on the shoulder and to be like, oh, you rapscallion.
I thought it was funny. Later I went to the bar
It's
and
funny in hindsight. It would be very awkward if I was there.
Anyway.
Later I went to the bar and I was like, God, there's one black guy here and he's like 6'5".
Oh man.
And I was like, I need to get this guy on my side before she tells him I'm a racist because he'll kick the shit out of me. So I went to the bar and I told him what happened. I said, do you mind telling these girls that I got the N-word pass?
Why are you still keeping this N-word thing up, Niall? What?
Because I needed to get them on my side. And then...
Why do you care what they think?
Because I was drunk. They were telling everybody I was racist at this point.
Oh, especially the girl you were chatting up.
Yeah. And then
I
was chatting to I was flirting with a black girl right in front of this Botox lady for an hour. So I'm obviously not racist. Then the black guy said, yes, I would mind doing that actually. And then he gave me a speech about, the meaning of the word and all this.
Oh,
I'm cutting all this out.
Don't!
So I had to sit through that. I'm obviously not a racist.
Listen, Gage, this is why people listen, all right? This is what people want, Gage.
You giving me a podcast, word to word, not mouth to mouth. What's it called?
It's whatever you want to call it. Hey, it's your podcast. You do whatever you want. I didn't incriminate myself, at least not yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
It's only incriminating if I care.
No.
If I knew I was racist. What do I have to lose?
If you killed the person and you're like, I don't care, guys, you can't incriminate me.
I have a mini topic. This is like a Sleepy Cabin topic, but...
Yeah, why not?
You called the woman Botox face, and it came to mind, like, what's like the meanest nickname you ever had for someone, like woman or otherwise? I'm just curious.
I know what's the worst insult. You're gonna laugh at this, but
yeah.
If Niall calls you a loser, that is the lowest of lows. Niall does not think anything of you. You're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
He's only said that about 2 people since I've known him, and I'm like,
All right,
oh my
Niall.
God, Niall does not like this guy.
Tell me, Niall, what is your worst nickname?
I can't say what I was going to say because it was a joke, but it was racist. So
Jesus
I mean, you're
Christ.
already down the
I'm
rabbit
already
hole.
Just
down
get
the
off
rabbit
the
hole.
racist thing. All right.
the meanest thing I could think of to call somebody, but it depends on what they look like. It depends on what they look. Because
See, now I'm second guessing if I want to say what I know. Like, it wasn't even my nickname. My friends had a nickname for this person. They actually had a bunch, but now I don't want to say any of them because they're really cruel.
you got to tell me. You can't do this.
Yeah, I can cut it out. Or you could just tell him later.
No, tell me, Jeff. You
Yeah.
got to do it. Is it bad? How bad is it?
It's just mean. You know, it's mean now.
Tell me now and cut it out.
Yeah, I'll cut it out.
Oh, shit. They called this one Asian girl the Chinese Nightmare.
That's not that bad.
No, it wasn't even like the name so much, it was the description too. They kept saying like, you know how Asians kind of have like, you better cut, yeah, you got to cut this out.
Yeah, you got to cut this out.
All
Jeff has a
right,
game
yes,
coming out
yes,
soon. We
promise. Cross my
I don't
heart,
even believe you. I don't even see. Every time I tell Mick,
You shouldn't believe
every
me.
time I tell Mick to cut
I'm a
something
total
out-
stranger.
Gage will do it.
No,
Gage
let's
will
just
make
say
sure
this.
to do it.
Next topic. Next topic.
What's the
next topic.
Oh, cynicism and comedy. Why are people so down in comedy nowadays? People need to be up and chipper and full of grace.
Full of grace.
Yeah, see, Gage is one of those guys.
Yeah, like, I went out later and I said, totally unironically, what a delightful day outside. And Niall gave me this ugly look, like,
Dude, who
what
the fuck says that?
Corey said that. He said, "What did he say?" Oh no, he said like, "Isn't the weather frightful or something?" But he was quoting a movie.
Yeah, well, Gage said it on ironically.
Gage, are you a guy that like doesn't curse? Like how G-rated are you? I'm just curious. Like,
No,
are you-
I curse when I'm mad.
he is pretty PG. He's kind of like I don't know. You're kind of
Pete
like
Holmes.
Yeah, a little bit Pete Holmes-ish. More kind of. He's kind of daddish in his ways.
Hey, thanks,
see.
man. I appreciate that.
Oh, not the cool dad.
How close are you to those guys on the? What was that cartoon podcast you guys went on again? What was that called now?
Fucking. Oh yeah, was that a Cartoon Hangover?
Cartoon Hangover. I was gonna call it.
Yeah.
Toontown or something.
Yeah, that was a beautiful nightmare. That fucking thing. It was just such a clash of personalities.
I still feel bad, even though I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even on it. I wasn't making snarky comments on Twitter as it was going on, but it was. They were like just wholesome, nice guys. I have no problem
Yeah, there were
with them.
wholesome cartoon fans who had this podcast called Cartoon Hangover, and they
They were
were
just cuddling with like stuffed bears, like as they were talking to us or you guys. And,
we were talking about queefs and stuff like on their podcast. It was kind of.
Yeah, it's like they opened a doorway to hell into this like.
But they were so nice. They were such nice people. They're still laughing and like,
Yeah.
you know, going, ha ha ha. Oh,
Yeah,
you
they
guys.
kind of. I think they kind of were going along with it, but hard to say. Like if they, I don't know. It's so funny because like they invited you guys on in the first place because like yeah, we're fans of Sleepy Cabin.
That's on them for inviting us. Like, you know,
That's
it's
true.
their fault. They should
It
have
is
known.
their fault. It is 100% their fault. They knew what they were getting into.
Are they one of those, like, companies that's owned by a much larger
I
company?
think Cartoon Network.
I don't know if they were even part of Cartoon Network. They were part of I don't know what it was, but yeah, there was like a bigger corporation. They were, they're just employees, and they probably had to follow the rules so they don't get fired and all that. I
the
mean,
men upstairs in the suits should have been like, no, we don't want those degenerates on your wonderful esteemed YouTube channel.
And it was also live.
I guess the weird crossover is like, even though like it's a total like degenerate podcast, we're also internet animators. So they're like, what do we do? Do we try to appeal to their animator side, or do we have Niall screaming the N-word? I don't know. What do we do?
I didn't scream the N-word. I whispered it, and that was only to invoke a reaction.
It was only out of spite.
It was.
Which makes it great.
But the thing is like no one saw the reaction. That was just for me. Okay, anyway, I'll get off that topic.
Oh,
Niall.
All right, Gage. Next topic. Go.
I guess we covered cynicism. But yeah, I'm one of those
Oh
guys
wait,
that,
then let
like,
me tell. Yeah. All right. Sorry. We can keep talking cynicism for a moment, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, Niall's spot on about me, because I like write thank you cards to people at, like, Christmas time.
Oh yeah, he does stuff like that. He writes thank you cards to people on Christmas. And he also packed me a sandwich once. I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
We climbed a mountain in Griffith Park, and then at the top of the mountain, he unloads his bag and he has sandwiches packed. Like, you know, I told him, I think we talked about this. Did we
Yeah, we
record it?
talked, whatever, it's worth repeating.
Okay, yeah, and I was like, you know, what man packs another man a sandwich? But I was, like, secretly delighted with the
Yeah,
sandwich.
secretly
So happy.
judging me, as
Secret.
always.
No, I was secretly hungry though, so he gladly took the sandwich.
Yeah, it was a great sandwich.
It was a great time. It was a great day.
I'll throw myself under the bus here. I'll say I've been accused of being too cynical generally, people are necessarily wrong. I feel like my problem is I don't want to be cynical. I enjoy being sarcastic, and sometimes I feel like that's a slippery slope going from sarcasm into cynicism a little bit. And
A little bit.
sometimes I go a lot, you know, same thing, Niall. But
But Jeff, your catchphrase is literally ugh.
yeah, well, that's not my fault. I mean, it is my fault, but you know, people keep fucking typing that back to me. I only say it like if I say it once in a podcast, I get it sent back 20 times. But you know, it's not a great trait to have. I don't think anybody really wants to be around a really, really cynical person. That's like, it's just not fun to be around.
But I never saw you as that though.
I don't think I'm that bad. You know what it is? People call me out on the podcast because if I take one shot at like something they like, they never forget it. I'm on their shit lists forever. They're going to call me cynical until the end of my days because of one thing.
Do you think it's just like the tone of your voice? Just
I don't know, maybe.
having that low, sarcastic voice and be like, yeah, I don't like this. It's almost like you decree it into law. Like,
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things out there. I mean, you know, I don't know how many people want to listen to the podcast of us just, you know, heaping praise on things. You know, they want us to like argue and complain about things and criticize things. So I guess that, I don't know if that was like, maybe that was a mistake. I don't know. But sometimes I joke about things in a sarcastic way and people are like, oh, you're being cynical again. JohnnyUtah, I wish you were dead. You know, I'm like, it's like, I'm not that bad. I'm not a bad guy, I don't think.
You were nice enough to come all the way down to Glendale to record this podcast with us.
Is that where Marty McFly lives? Glendale? No, that's... Never mind.
Does he live in Sherman Oaks?
I have no idea.
It's something Dale. Never mind. Anyways. You guys have anything else to add on about cynicism? Go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, just I was curious because it seems like a lot of comedians put themselves down almost to like a harming degree, and when it gets to that point, it's not funny for anyone.
What is funny to you? Like, who do you find funny?
I find you guys funny, and I'm also a huge fan of like horror humor.
What's too far? What's too far for you?
Honestly, it's too far when people are hateful.
Right.
Like, hey, I don't like my neighbor because my neighbor always asks me how my day is going and like wants to get coffee with me.
Wow, look out.
Oh, this sounds like people did that to you. This is like personal experience.
It is personal because
So you don't like mean, hateful people, but you know.
I don't like people reciprocate my niceness and they're like, hey, you're obviously trying to get something out of me. What's your plan? What's your ulterior motive?
Yeah.
Do you harbor like resentment towards a lot of people for their like behavior? Do you feel
There's honestly like a couple of people I really resent
Yeah.
because they do not reciprocate my kindness, which like they have no obligation to.
I mean, I feel guilty about that. When people do nice things for me, I feel like maybe I don't reciprocate enough. It's not that I'm not nice in return. I'm just maybe not
As nice?
It's not even like nice. It's just sort of maybe like generosity, like doing things for people or...
No, you're nicer than you think.
Tell them, Niall.
Give me 100 smackaroos when I was moving to California.
Did I? Oh, all right.
Yeah, you did.
I am a
You
good
did.
person.
See, he
after
doesn't
all.
even remember.
Yeah, I mean, I like Niall. I want to help him out. I think Niall's a genuinely good person. I can't say that about a lot of people. I can't even say that about myself. But Niall, I feel like Niall's got like a good heart in him. So that's all. That's all I want to say.
I'll gush about Niall too. He's always super helpful whenever I ask him to do something for me. Like the first time we recorded, I cold called you and you're like, yeah, totally, why not? And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. Well, thank you, guys.
But that being said, do you harbor any grudges for people not being nice enough to you?
No, dude, I like dislike someone and then it just fades away like so quickly. Like I don't care anymore. I stop caring too quickly.
I think that's a good trait to have because
it is in some ways, but in some other ways, it's not that good because I don't act. I'm just like, I just let everything go. It's just like whatever. I don't feel like most people are like that.
But that's like the complete opposite of me, where if someone says something slightly mean to me, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? How can I fix this situation? I get really in my head about it.
I mean, at the time, if someone says something mean to me at the time, like, hey, well, you know, fuck you too, or whatever. And then like,
oh, if it's something like
minutes
that,
later, I will stop caring. Like, it'll just fade away. Like, 0.
But if it's something like, I don't like you because A, B, and C,
Then I'd be like, I don't like you because of this.
of D, E, and F,
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's overall a great attribute to have.
Well, yeah, it's good, but I get defensive even if I'm like wrong. Like if someone has legit reason to not like me and they tell me, sometimes I'll be like, I'll try to defend my shitty actions. That's bad.
Niall's only guilty of being too horny. That's all I can say.
Not even that horny all the time. It just happens sometimes. I'm a human.
Hey, it happens.
Gage is a horny man.
Is he?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Actually, I've never heard him talk about being horny, not even once.
Yeah, we can talk about that if you want.
You've never talked about anything
Yeah,
sexual to me.
out there hunting Slash.
Yeah, I'm
Slinging dick.
yeah, sure. And what was the last kind of sexual thing that happened? I talked about it on the podcast a little bit.
Came out of your mom.
We're
Friend,
changing
what a
topics.
friend
We're
this is.
changing topics.
Niall, you got to help him out, Niall. You got to get him out there. Get him out in the world. Go on some double dates.
We should go on a double date. That'd be fun.
I don't really like double dates.
Go to a strip club then. Get Gage some lap dances. Go.
Now we'll hit the town. We'll get some liquor bombs, and we can go to the hottest club in town.
The place we lived in was strip clubs that were like all over the place. They were everywhere.
There was just that one
No,
strip
there's
club
two.
that was. Oh yeah, there was another one as well.
And they were right next to us.
I don't want to go back to there because it's North Hollywood. But yeah, let's hit up a strip club. That would be fun.
I was thinking of going the other night by myself.
Don't go by yourself. You two go together.
We should go together.
Jeff, can you give us like $100 of like spending money?
No, do this. Take some cash, but leave your credit cards at home.
Oh my fucking god, yeah, that is very good advice.
Yeah, take $100. Reserve 20 or 40 for alcohol. The rest for some lap dances, and just go and leave your fucking credit cards on your dresser and don't take them with you.
That was horrible. I actually never told this, but I told the story of going to a strip club with Stamper before.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up going into the champagne room, they call it, for the
Yeah.
high rollers, knowing fully well I had no cash, nothing. I was broke. I still just wandered
Oh
in.
fuck! Did you get Stamper to pay for you, or what happened?
I think I had his card in my pocket.
Oh my god, no.
But no, I didn't use it.
Well, how did you pay?
I didn't pay, but I got a free lap dance for like at least 15 minutes. And then the woman at the counter came over and she's like, his card declined. And then the lady just got up off me straight away. Just tell me how cute I was. And then she went to fucking hate my guts in faster than I've ever seen anything happen. Then I apologized for my actions and I told her that I'll come down on Thursday.
And you didn't.
Fuck no. Why would I do that? I got a free lap dance. I was
Oh
happy.
man, you're a scumbag now. I take back everything I ever said.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. I ended up paying her for, like, whatever little money I had, I gave it to her.
That is the most Niall story I've ever heard.
Because it was a 15-minute lap dance, and you're paying $300 for a fucking hour. So I ended up giving her, like, 80 for the 15 minutes. So
an hour, damn.
And there was some fucking dirty bastards in there with, like, 3 girls at a time just laying down.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that's about right.
Yeah,
It's what, it's
yeah.
like 20 a song usually, and they give you like a little bit of a discount for like an hour.
It was 30 a song.
Wow.
30.
Yeah.
Wow. LA is not cheap.
I was in Philly.
See, I haven't been to any of these strip clubs. I mean, I had to go to one at once because out of a friend's bachelor party, but I haven't been to any since around here.
I think it was called, like, Caroline's or something.
There's like Caroline's, Delilah's.
Delilah's. That's the one we were at.
I really hope.
Don't say hey there, Delilah. Don't do
No,
that,
I'm not
please.
gonna say that. I was just saying. I hope this podcast gets super duper popular and like becomes a national monument, and then they'll remember this episode and they'll turn that strip club into a national landmark.
You're definitely gonna get people listening. I guarantee that.
You get a few.
Yeah, I got a couple. Of
I hope it tanks, though, so people don't think I'm racist.
That ship has sailed, Niall. That ship has
Yeah, I know.
sailed. Cut half of it out, Gage. Cut, just a little bit.
I wanted to talk about like 80s movies that we find like super appealing. Like me, I find RoboCop and Little Shop of Horrors super appealing.
Right.
Another one's Die Hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Predator. I love Aliens.
Oh, that's the other one, Predator and Aliens.
Conan the Barbarian.
I haven't seen Conan yet.
It's a great movie. The second one's not so good, but the first one's a classic. James Earl Jones is the snake man, or whatever.
Oh, sold. 100%. If he's a snake man, sold. I was about to say, they did a remake of Conan back in 2011, and when they first made it, they're like, we have 3 sequels lined up for this movie.
Let me tell you something. This is something I want to talk about on the podcast, but basically, anytime one of these guys talks about having tons of sequels to their remake or whatever movie they're making, it's instant death. Like, for that, the fucking Power Rangers movie was supposed to have 6 sequels, dead on arrival. The Pacific Rim sequel was supposed to have like 6 sequels, that was dead on arrival. Like, they should never talk about an entire franchise before the fucking movie's out. It never works.
Yeah, they said they were doing Avatar 2 and 3 for a long time.
Oh, they're doing 4 of those. That's different. That's James Cameron though. But even then, I can guarantee he's gonna get at least 2 movies out. If those do terribly, which I don't think they will, then the other 2 would probably be canceled. But, you know, that's James Cameron, though. Like, you just got people out there, like nobodies, putting out movies saying it's going to be a whole franchise. And, see, now I'm not trying to sound cynical here. This is just like, I'm just backing this up with data.
You got the numbers to back you up. They're doing the same thing with the not Big Trouble in Little China. What's it called? Escape from New York.
They're remaking that, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing a
yeah.
prequel. They're doing the remake. Then they're remaking Escape from LA, which I haven't heard is great.
Escape from LA sucks. It's so
They're gonna
bad.
get one of those out, and that's it.
Yeah, why would they remake Escape from LA anyway? It's a terrible movie. It's not worth remaking. It's literal garbage.
But that's what I think
They
a
should just make
remake
a new
should
one.
be. If the movie's garbage, you should remake it to make it better.
Do you know what's a movie I want to see remade, actually? It's actually like this movie from my childhood I always really liked. It's just like a fucked up, weird movie, but it's called The Wraith. It's about a guy that dies, and he gets like, I don't know what it is, like an alien spirit comes down out of space and brings him back to life and also gives him a fucking sports car. The guys that killed him were like a evil race crew or whatever, and they were always stealing other people's cars. They'd race them, take the pink slip, take the car from people, but the whole movie was him hunting down and racing these guys that killed him and killing them in the race. I'm explaining it terribly. He would basically race all these guys throughout the movie that were part of the gang that killed him, basically sort of killing them one at a time in these races, even though he was kind of like the good guy.
Oh, like Ghost Rider, sorta?
Yeah, it's something like that. But I was saying, like, with the popularity of all the Need for Speed movies and horror movies, there's a perfect storm here of remaking this shitty 80s movie into something. It could at least be on par with the original, I think. It wasn't that great to begin with, but I thought it was a cool idea.
That is a cool idea.
That's why I think they should remake stuff that's bad, but like has potential.
I'm looking forward to the Top Gun sequel, guys.
But Tony Scott isn't going to be a part of it.
That was a very mysterious death. Do you remember that? Killed himself, but nobody knows why. It just seems more mysterious than just depression or something.
In real life?
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but
Out of nowhere, like it was suspicious?
yeah, just out of fucking like he was planning movies with Tom Cruise. Like he was planning Top Gun 2 with Tom Cruise, and then just out of nowhere, he just killed himself.
That's strange.
He knew too
yeah.
much about something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like someone was blackmailing him or something.
Yeah.
But anyways,
What have you been doing over the past 2 years since, I shouldn't say the last Sleepy Cast, but the one you did before the recent one? Is it just Nightmare Cops, or are you cooking something up,
no, it's pretty much. I don't know. I was kind of toying with writing a book.
Ooh, like a novel or like?
I guess so. I guess you could say that. But it's difficult to balance the two because it's like I have every individual chapter sort of in pieces, but it's not a cohesive whole yet.
Yeah, you gotta fill that hole.
So, yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know a goddamn thing about pitching books, so I don't even know what I'm going to do with it if I get it done. I like writing. I mean, I think writing is more relaxing to me than even probably drawing, even though I don't know. At some point, I just think I almost transitioned from liking to write more than draw, but I like doing them both. It's kind of partially why I like doing the game, is I get to write the character dialogue and do art too, so I like doing them both, you could say. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been drawing art for so goddamn long. I'm almost itching to write more, but
It's probably more new, you know?
yeah.
Would you consider like writing like a biography or an autobiography about yourself?
I don't think I'm interesting enough for an autobiography. There's not a whole lot there.
Yeah, fuck those people who do autobiographies. Like,
I mean, most like actors that write them probably haven't even touched a pen in their lives.
Yeah.
I think I had an interesting story that leads up to this point, but it's only like a good 20-minute story. It's not worthy of filling a book, let alone someone wanting to buy that book.
Yep.
I think.
If I wrote one, it would just be a mess, a complete mess.
Chapter 1, Dr. Niall.
No.
I wanted to be a doctor one day, but then I discovered Skyrim, and I'm like, it's pretty epic.
That's pretty much what happened.
But then I kicked a frog and someone spit in my eye, and then Jeff created that whole Irish Story meme, and I still hate him for it.
That would be a good name for my book, Irish Stories.
Irish Stories. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Would you consider writing an autobiography?
No, because, like, as I said, first of all, I'm not interesting enough. Second of all, I mean, I'm 27. It'd be kind of
Well,
lame to
like,
do.
you would start the first, 3 chapters and then continue on
Yeah,
from
but
there.
the first 15 years of my life, nothing happened. I was going to say, speaking of frogs, one time this guy, he was actually, in this family of psychopaths that I knew.
Uh-huh. Speaking of frogs, all right, keep going.
The guy on the bus who fingered everybody, his brother, once he grabbed a frog and he put it in a Coke bottle, and then he pissed in the Coke bottle.
What?
And threw it against the wall.
Oh.
What
Yeah.
the hell are you talking about?
See, this is why I can't write an autobiography. It would just be
This
shit.
is an Irish Story, Niall. Congratulations.
It would just be shit like that. It's like one time I did this, and then I saw this, and another time I did that. That's what it would be. It's like
You're like writing haikus, but they don't rhyme or they don't have any logicalness to them.
it'd be complete and utter mess. I'd
Pee in a bottle. Frog in the bottle. I throw against the wall.
Can I bring something up?
Sure.
See, this is I was kind of surprised because I think everyone was under the impression that you and Chris, we always thought you were like childhood friends.
no.
Yeah, but you're not. You're not at all. You only knew him for like a year or two before he came over here.
Yeah, we just met at Pico Day. It was just
So wait, who did you know at Pico Day before you met Chris?
I used to love Newgrounds, so I kind of snuck over to
okay.
Pico Day. I snuck over to Pico Day uninvited one time.
Okay, all right, okay.
Also, I was friends with Zach, a little bit, just on the line, just a little bit. And,
Okay, all right. You two just hit it off. You're like, you're Irish. I'm Irish too.
I cannot remember how we became friends. I just remember meeting him there. I can't remember it. I know I somehow got invited back to Stamper's house that night, and I went.
Mm-hmm.
I think I whipped my dick out to Chris, and he hated me. And then
Excuse me?
I don't know why. It's not even something I do. He says I did this, but I don't remember. He told me that I whipped my dick out. I think he's confusing me with somebody else. But then we became friends, and
Oh, this is a hot story so far. Keep going. Yeah. Tell me more.
he liked the dick, so
Uh-huh.
I approved. And then I
Yeah.
shoved it inside his
Yes.
his little pink hole. No, but I genuinely don't remember how we became friends. It was just we met at Pico Day, and then
Well, there you go.
There
There you go.
I really have zero recollection.
Honestly, whenever people meet me for the first time, they're just like, Gage, I absolutely hated you for the first time. But then a couple weeks went by, and I'm like,
You grew on me for sure.
oh, really?
Yeah.
You feel like you give off a bad first impression?
Oh, yeah. Horrible first impression, because I just say whatever shit comes to my mind.
I never disliked Gage at all, but I told this to Gage the other day. He's just way too overly punctual. He's like, he's like, I'll pick you up at 4, and he is there at 4:00. Like, he will he'll be at my house at 4.
I think I'm the same way. I think I like being on time. I don't like being early or late.
I am the absolute opposite of that. So Gage,
You're just late, I think.
I'm just late.
I know people, my parents are early to everything. I'm on time. You and my brother are late to everything.
So I don't know if we talked about this actually, Gage. So I had to move out of my ex-girlfriend's house, and I was moving to LA, and I still had no credit at the time. So Gage said that I can live with him. So I was like, cool. But Gage kept asking me for all this his applications, and I always be late handing them in.
Yeah, I was asking you to do work, Niall,
Yeah.
so we could get an apartment together,
Yeah.
so we could live.
But I was always late, and then we lose the apartment. But then I moved here, and Gage was talking to me like I was retarded. he kept talking to me. It really seemed to me like he was talking to me like I was a Down syndrome child or something. And one time I kind of went, "Do you think I'm retarded?" No, because I said something like,
No, it was out of the blue, because I was being like, we got to be at this place by then, and then it just came right out. You're like, you think I'm retarded?
No, because you were I was trying to give you directions to somewhere, And I was like, you go left. And then you were like, yes, left is... I felt like you were talking down to me.
Oh, I probably wasn't even paying attention.
So I was like, I'm not fucking retarded. He was kind of shocked that I yelled at him. But I wasn't like serious. I wasn't actually angry. I was just like...
You were actually more curious than anything.
I was like, do you think... No, I said, do you think I'm retarded?
Yeah, you said, do you think I'm retarded?
Yeah, and I was like, you do know I'm not retarded. And then after a while, Gage started growing on me. We started becoming friends. Like, not in like, it didn't take long. It was like a week, right? Or we started...
Yeah, after you started living with me, I started liking you a little bit more.
All right.
Yeah, that's what happened, I think, between both of us.
Like an abusive relationship, you kind of just start growing attached, even though it's an unhealthy thing.
Yeah, well, we could just start wrapping it up right now.
All right,
if that's
go for it.
If you guys,
if you think we got enough material for your podcast, then
yeah, we got a good like 50 minutes in there.
We could talk about one more thing if you want. I don't know.
Sure.
Anything else we didn't cover?
Well, here's something I'm curious about you.
Yeah.
Because when I first emailed you, your response was, yeah, sure, why not? And I'm curious how you take cold calls from like people who want to record with you or people who want you to animate for something.
Well, I take it on a case-by-case basis. I guess like years ago, I used to say yes to a lot of things, like not animation, but people needed a voiceover or something. And you soon realize when you record things for people, 98% of those projects never go anywhere. That is one thing I became very cynical about. It's just it was just a huge waste of time. Like almost every single thing I recorded for someone never went anywhere.
You had a recent debacle with this topic.
Did I? What was it?
Oh, the multiverse guy?
Oh, yeah. That guy contacted Corey recently, too.
Oh, really? There was a guy recently who DM'd Jeff. He was asking Jeff to be part of his project, but he was so socially inept.
He could not take no for an answer.
He started challenging Jeff. Like, he was doing everything wrong to get someone on board with your project. It was just hilarity ensued, the whole conversation between them.
Yeah, it went south really fast. I didn't know what this guy wanted. I mean, first of all, when somebody sounds really confident right off the bat about like they don't have a show greenlit, but they're very, very confident about it, I'm immediately put on edge. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, they're the biggest bullshitters because like they've obviously not have been beat down enough by like actually trying. No, but like. If you're pitching stuff, you get said no to a lot, and this guy just seemed like
he never pitched.
Yeah, but he had no awareness of that. So
I was initially in the boat of like, okay, maybe he's just naive, but then it quickly went into okay, there's something else going on here because like Red Light 1 was like the show is named after him and about him,
and he wanted you to be
in it.
But
he kept talking about multiverses. He's like, you don't understand. You're part of the multiverse. You need to be. You come into my world through the multiverse. See, he was like flip-flopping between like half crazy, half naive. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, you're a big inspiration to me. Got me into animation, and I'm like, okay, I'm with you, but you don't understand. You have to be in this. And I said, what if I'm not interested? He's like, well, I'm going to send you the script anyway because I need you in this. And I said, listen, I don't want to read your script. This sounds shady. I don't want to be part of it. Then he started throwing like legalese at me. He's like, I'm sorry, but I have to put you in it whether you like it or not. And I'm like, why'd you even ask me in the first place? He's like, you can talk to my legal team. I'm like, this guy does not have a legal team. I guarantee
Not a fucking chance. This is the ramblings of an actual schizo. It was fascinating.
It was very weird. And then later, once I posted that online and then quickly deleted it because I don't want him coming after me because I don't know what this guy's issue is. But people were saying he had a bunch of scripts online and he had like the South Park characters in it. He had a bunch of like Pixar characters in it. It's like all these IPs he could never get the green light to use ever. And then 2 days passed. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, all right, we'll just forget about this guy. Then he contacts Corey. And he's like, Corey, hell, I'm a big fan. I'd like your permission to use all the Nightmare Cops bosses in my show. And we're like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, we'll just sprinkle them about throughout the season. We want to go into the multiverse. He's talking about the multiverse again. He's like, going into the multiverse, the Nightmare Cops multiverse. And someone mentioned to me, they're like, that's part of autism. He's like, people who talk about the multiverse a lot.
Is that true?
I don't know. That kind of, like Lexi said that to me. She's like, yeah, that's kind of part of the spectrum. People joke about liking Sonic and stuff, and Corey's like, yeah, people on the spectrum love trains, but apparently loving the multiverse is another thing.
It's in the multiverse. It's like,
yeah. Corey has a whole thing on this. He's like, people on the spectrum like things that go fast, and that's like trains. So of course they love trains because they just go in this one direction really fast, and that just, appeals to them.
I think this is Corey being autistic saying this stuff.
I don't know. It makes sense though. I feel like it makes sense.
It does make sense. You are right about that.
And then Lexi's like, oh yeah, they love stuff involving the multiverse. Like, Chris Chan loves the I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know why. I have no evidence to back this up. But I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It does make sense. It's probably because they believe there's a multiverse where they're not autistic and they want to like live there.
Yeah, they love multiple worlds interacting with each other. I don't know why.
What do you think the fast thing has to do with it?
Corey has an explanation for this that I forget, but he had a way of putting it that, again, like made sense to me, even though it's complete insanity, but it makes sense. Yeah, something about Sonic and trains just running fast in a direction like really speaks to them for some reason. I don't know why, but we'll have to discuss this more on another episode, I guess. But
report back to us, Jeff.
I don't know. But back to your original question, people ask me for things. Sometimes, people would ask myself and other animators to animate music videos for them, and I'm like, those people can go fuck off. Like, they don't understand what they're asking. If you really have no idea what you're asking someone to do a music video for free, then you can just...
And they feel so entitled, too.
Yeah, and they get angry if they're like, you don't understand, I'll give you credit. What else do you want? I'll give you credit for it.
What else do you want? Money? You're crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like so obvious to anyone with common sense. Like, you're asking for basically several months of free work. Back-breaking free work for your shitty rap video. Like, fuck off. I have no sympathy for you if you're asking someone that without even wanting to pay them a cent.
And they can't believe when you say no.
I don't know. Artists are so abused. It really makes me angry when some artists like agree to these things too. I just like, you really...
Yeah, but if you agree to those, you're a bitch. And
I actually had a similar experience. I'm not an animator myself, but I did DP for this person's project, and they treated me like shit the whole way through. At the end of it, they're just like, we tagged you in the Instagram post. It's all right.
That's what you got, a tag in the Instagram post?
I got a tag in the Instagram post.
Just start rubbing your hands together. Yes, money, free money.
Yes, I'm going to get 3 followers from this. I didn't get any followers, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, you got gypped.
Yeah, well, that's the last time I worked for Mr. Instagram, I tell you what.
I don't even know. Like, people ask me, like, let me ask you about this. This is something I'm conflicted on. I feel like an asshole about this, but what do you feel about people on Twitter that would say, like, they want you to promote something for them?
No.
Like, retweeting something requires no effort, but on the same token, I feel like I just shouldn't have to do it. Yet for some reason, I feel bad.
A lot of people do sponsored tweets.
I'm not even talking about sponsored money. I'm just saying, like, they're like, oh, I'm a big fan of yours. Could you retweet this? And I'm like, well, if I'm not really into it, like, am I just a dickhead for not retweet? I don't know.
No,
that
you're
goes
not.
into the philosophy, like, my philosophy is if your stuff is good enough and people like it, they will retweet it on their own volition.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to go out of their way to be like, hey, by the way, this is good.
That said, I've watched everything people send me, like, and if they want to show me their art or something, I'll watch it. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to pretend.
So, Niall, what are your final thoughts on this hullabaloo that we got going on here?
What did we talk about again?
Talked about autism. We talked about racism.
To sum it all up,
autism, racism, like what's the other tenet of humanity
80s
here?
movies, that's kind of fun.
80s movies. Did we even really talk about it that much? Maybe we didn't. We kind of glossed over it.
Well, I'm very go with the flow kind of person, so if you guys want to talk about how you piss off girls in bars, I'm down for that.
yeah, whatever, dude. It was just
Oh, that's another personal story. That sounds like you got these veiled like scars on your psyche you want to talk about. I feel like you're just like, hey, if you guys want to give me a little insight into this on how not to piss off females, we can talk about
No, it's just, I just want to say, like, if it's a funny story, I'll tell you if I think it'll make you laugh. That's the only reason why I would say it.
Yeah, I get that. I know you. You're not a hateful person.
We can wrap this up in 2 minutes, but real quick. Let's just get into this real fast.
Sure.
You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer, or you can get into this whatever you want. But do you hit on girls at bars, or do you?
That's the thing. I actually don't, and I wanted to see if it worked because I realized that I was like, I don't like naturally find a girl and hit on her in public. Like, usually it's just online dating.
What about Gage though? Gage too?
I want to see what my game was, so that's why I talked to it and it worked somehow. But Gage, what about you?
I do hit on girls in bars. It doesn't go well, but I want to at least try.
But what do you say? What do you?
Yeah, what's your MO? Like, what?
Typically it's at like karaoke or something, so I'd be like, hey, I really like Creep by Radiohead. And they go, yeah, thanks.
And you'll creep them out instantly. You say creep.
And
You're immediately embedding the word creep into their subconscious.
That's the first song that came into my head. They probably sang something from Frozen.
Creep? Like me? I'm not creepy like that song.
Breathing into their ear. Do you like creep? Do you like creeps? They probably think you say.
Maybe they think I'm saying crepes, Niall.
Well, you know.
But yeah, in conclusion, I usually stick to online dating.
How many online dates do you go on?
Not a bunch. People are kind of boring online.
Are you like Niall? You sort of just get in the mood every now and then, or is it a regular thing?
I'm like Niall. I'm feeling to talk to the ladies today, and so I text them or I DM them and be like, "Hey, I'm Gage. I'm a peachy keen kind of guy."
Oh God.
You really gotta ease up off the dad
Yeah.
personality. Hey, ladies. Gosh golly gee, ladies, I'm available.
It's not the daddy that girls like.
No, they like the abusive father type, not the...
Yeah, they're like the ones that whip them into shape.
Is that your final thought, Niall?
You tell him, Niall.
That's my final thought. I don't like when girls call me daddy, though.
I think it's pretty weird, too.
It's weird when guys call people daddy. That's even worse. On like Twitch or Twitter, like, hey, daddy. I'm like, kill yourself. Hey, I got banned from Twitter for 12 hours the other day. First time.
Well, how'd you
what
get
happened
banned?
there?
Mick sent some stupid picture at me. He's like, yeah, this looks like you. And I said, kill yourself. And Twitter banned me for 12 hours.
And was that an auto ban?
I don't know. The way it was written, it almost sounded like someone reported me. So I don't know if some trolly piece of shit reported me to Twitter, but it worked. I got banned for 12 hours. I couldn't respond to anyone. But it took like an hour or two. Like after I wrote that, so I don't know how automated it could have been. But
Turn it into Stamper.
yeah, I know. I'm like on strike one. If I do it again, I'm probably gonna get my account taken away. We'll see.
Don't worry, you'll just make 4 other accounts.
Note to self: don't joke about killing people on Twitter. Now I know.
Jeff, what are your final thoughts? What are you
Final
reflecting on this
thoughts.
whole experience? You're like, I don't like this Gage guy. It's good to talk to Niall again. Or I think
That's
it's
not
all
true.
right.
You seem like a swell fella, but I think you both need to go to a brothel. That's my final.
I think so
thought.
too.
think you
Gage, we're
both-
going.
Oh,
I feel like I'm sensing it through the mic that you are both losing your fucking minds, and you need to dump the poison, as they say, or whatever. Niall, make it happen.
I'll make
Niall.
it happen.
Take Gage and get him. Yeah, do it.
Gage, we are
Thank you.
going.
Watch Gage become a cooler guy overnight.
I mean, I'm not the coolest guy in the world, but
Just giving you shit, Gage. It's all right.
you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, but that's actually part of the podcast now. We do challenges.
oh yeah, that's the challenge. All right, we're
Yeah,
going to a
challenges.
strip club.
Go to a strip club. Yeah.
I think you just needed that little push, so there you go. Now you can't say no. You have to do it.
Thanks,
I'm
Haas.
going to sit here and keep drawing cartoon monsters, but you two go get your rocks off and let me know how that goes.
We will report back to you. What are your final thoughts, Gage?
Yeah, go give it to me.
I had a pleasant time.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy talking to you, Jeff. You seem like a keen dude.
Uh-huh.
And it's always good to talk to Niall again because Niall will give me shit every now and then, but at the end of the day, he's doing it for the betterment of I.
And sometimes it's funny.
That's a good a reason as any, I think.
Okay, this podcast is over. Bing a bada boom. We out of here. Like,
I'm just kidding, Gage. I'm sorry. It was too easy.
Man.
whatever. Fuck you, Niall.